You're watching Alabama's WVUA News at 6 with your award-winning news team, Lynn Brooks, Philip Coleman, weather with Richard Scott, and sports with Gary Harris.
Tonight on WVUA News at 6.
If you're searching for a temporary job, your search may soon be over.
And one Alabama community back in full force after being encouraged to not go to work. But first, happening right now, the Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue Service is holding its Fall Awards program. Tonight, they're honoring first responders for all their efforts following the April 27th tornado.
Police, fire, and ambulance crews respond to dozens of calls every day in Tuscaloosa, putting their lives at risk while traveling to an emergency. WVUA's Daniel Sparkman rode along today to find out how you can help make the road safer for first responders.
Dozens of emergency calls are made every day, and North Star ambulances respond.
We need to be to the scene of the accident within under 9 minutes in the city of Tuscaloosa. So the quicker we get there, though, the better, of course.
Now, fire, police, and paramedics are asking for your help getting to calls safely.
Traffic in Tuscaloosa is very heavy. The biggest problem we have is just working through the traffic. A lot of people stop in front of you.
What I got to do now is I've got to clear the right-hand lane so I can go around him. And he's not even slowing down any.
So when you're driving along the roadway and you see this in your rearview mirror, or you hear the lights and sirens from police cars and fire trucks, officials say you need to pull over to the right.
I'll just slow down and pull to the right-hand side as far as you can go. Just don't react real quick. I mean, we're not trying to make you slam on your brakes or stop quick, but just, slow your speed, and as the traffic allows you, move to the right.
Those who are trained to help us played an important role on April 27th.
In an emergency situation like that, where people were overwhelmed, they had hurt people all around them, trapped people, that sort of thing, and there was more work to do than they could get done, obviously. And our first crews felt the same way. We had to bring as many people in as we could that night to stabilize the situation.
In Tuscaloosa, Daniel Sparkman, WVUA News.
2 paramedics from North Star are also being honored at tonight's awards program. We'll have more on that coming up tonight at 10. On your Crime Watch, WVUA is covering Bibb County, where a man convicted of murder has been sentenced. It's been just over a year since Thomas Dwayne Banks was gunned down while he was at work.
Now the man convicted of his murder has learned his fate. Israel Sid was sentenced to life in prison for shooting and killing Banks. Bibb County Assistant DA Jim Ranson tells WVUA this sentence does include the possibility of parole. The shooting happened October 8, 2010 at the construction site of the new Bibb County Board of Education building. Banks was 50 years old when he was killed. He left behind a daughter, a wife, and a grandson. Ransom says Sid will be transferred to the state penitentiary after his paperwork has been processed. WVUA is covering Marshall County, where things are returning to normal after a group of Hispanics held a protest and almost shut down an entire town. It happened Wednesday in Albertville in Marshall County. That's in northeast Alabama. The streets were quiet and plants sat idle. Dozens of immigrant-owned stores and other businesses were closed, and Hispanic students were absent from school. Hispanic immigrants say they staged the protest to highlight their impact on Alabama, but one Hispanic business owner, a U.S. citizen, says these types of things are not good for businesses.
Well, it's going to hurt my family. It's going to hurt people that live out of me. It's going to, the mortgage, the car's payment, all of these is going to have to go, because I'm just going to have to look for something else to do. Not here, probably I'll move out of state.
Officials say a one-day protest will have little, if any, economic impact on the state, but that could change if it went on for an extended period.
In Madison County, Alabama's immigration law also has some Hispanics concerned about how to keep their families together. Advocates say many parents are living in fear, and they worry that if they are detained and deported, their children won't be able to travel home with them to Mexico. In response, officials say many undocumented parents are finding powers of attorney for their children. That way, if they are deported, their children can stay here and continue on with their education with a legal guardian.
If you're on the hunt for a temporary job, you may be in luck. Today, Governor Robert Bentley announced the creation of Work Alabama. It's a program that matches temporary jobs with people looking for temporary work. Work Alabama was initiated by the Alabama Department of Industrial Relations. The department is devoting additional resources to help employers deal with federal regulations to hire additional workers to meet the workforce needs.
6 figures per day per incident. That's how much a leading expert on environmental safety says fines should be for offshore violations. The head of the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement says the maximum fine was $35,000 per day at the time of the Gulf blowout. Officials say that amount is trivial for companies spending up to $1 million a day to lease an offshore rig. This comes a day after BP was cited for 7 violations, and its contractors, Transocean and Halliburton, were cited 4 apiece stemming from the Gulf oil spill.
And Gulf Shores is rocking and rolling right now because the 2011 Gulf Shrimp Festival kicked off today. For a lot of you, it's one of your favorite events. More than 200,000 people from all around the world are expected to pour into Alabama's coast over the next 3 days. And look at that shrimp. That's the big prize there. You can also see entertainment, arts and crafts, fun there for the whole family. Those Gulf shrimp are prepared just about any way you can imagine. And if you'd like to get down to the beach, you still have some time. That festival runs through Sunday.
As many as 9 million Americans have their identities stolen each year. That's according to the Federal Trade Commission. And if you're looking for a way to safely dispose of your personal documents, this weekend is your chance. WVUA is a partner in Shred Fest, happening again this Saturday. Watchdog Document Services will be at Tuscaloosa Chevrolet from 8 until noon. They'll shred documents with your personal information for free.